The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
The Boston Red Sox hit the field looking to get back on top of the American League East. We're breaking down every pitch all season long on Obi's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
And we're back to Obi's Backstop Podcast. Yours truly, Obi Muniz. And we finally got Sean Scanlon back. Welcome back, my friend.
Feels good to be back, Obi. Thanks for having me on. Can't wait to
man, I missed you, man. I missed you. I've been talking to myself. I had this monitor looking at me, and I'm looking at the monitor, and I couldn't get any feedback. I mean, he wasn't talking to me. So, but I'm glad you're here. Look, I think the last time you were on, Red Sox were on a winning streak on top in first place. But since then, there's been some few obstacles here and there. But the Red Sox are back on first place, but plenty enough to talk about. But let's get started real quick with the series. Kind of disappointing, but the Boston Red Sox did lose the series to the Anaheim Angels, as we'll bring onto our big screen here. Voila. And before we do, please subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook. And that's right, you can also tune in to hhwshow.com. And as far as the series, the first game on Monday, the Red Sox did defeat the Angels 5-4. But Tuesday and Wednesday was kind of a little hurtful one. On Tuesday, the Red Sox lose 5-3. And today, Wednesday, they went ahead and lost 5-4 thanks to Ohtani's home run. And then they follow suit. Back-to-back home runs against Erod. That did enough damage as it is, as the Red Sox start traveling back to Fenway Park tonight with a night off tomorrow. And then we get set for the next series with the Phillies. But in the series here with the Angels, Sean, tell me more about it, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty disappointing series. Obviously, you see here we got out-hit in every game. And, there's not some great performances starting wise. I think, Nate Eovaldi, who he's been great all year. Obviously, he's an all-star for a reason, but he was getting hit pretty hard all game long. He did end up with 9 strikeouts, so he was punching guys out, but a lot of hits. And just on top of that, the offense didn't really get it going in any of these games. Obviously, last night, Hunter Renfroe, had a home run in the 9th, but it was too little too late. Today in the 8th inning, Xander Bogaerts had a big RBI double that I thought at that point, only being down 1, we would go ahead and, try and close the gap and, make it a ball game. But I think it's, they were on a stretch of 16 games in 16 days. I think that, the day off tomorrow is going to be huge for them. I think that they're looking ahead to the All-Star break. And, I mean, it's rare for this team to lose a series. It's been pretty rare for them to lose 2 in a row like they just have. So I think it's just, the midsummer, I think they see the All-Star break coming upon them, and I think that they're going to try and re-energize themselves for the Phillies series, hopefully win that series, and then go into the All-Star break, enjoy their times off, and then right back to it with the Yankees. But I think it was just a little bit of them having to play so many games in so many days, and I think that it kind of caught up with them. But I don't see it as too much of a problem. I think that they'll bounce back pretty well against the Phillies coming up this series.
I no doubt there, and I think they're going to close it out real good against the Phillies. 3 games before they hit to the All-Star break, and you're right. Long trip, west side. They handled their business with the Oakland A's, especially they were going through extra innings. But also there's some concerns in there in the bullpen because Matt Andriese has not established anything. We've been saying it even at the beginning during spring season, right? That Matt Andriese is not the guy. We look at the stats, we compare the stats. We were even nervous on Could the Red Sox do anything? And surprisingly, they're in first place, but they can be better.
Yeah.
But man, Andriese is not the guy. I mean, this guy had the lead and almost blew it for the Red Sox, you know? And then, and, you know, there's other pitchers there, like, Josh Taylor is another one, but he's slowly improving. But there's got to be a take where the responsibility is the starting pitching. Now, is Chris Sale the answer? Because we expect him to come back at the end of the month. Could he be the guy to answer the call and give some rest for the bullpen? You know, Matt Barnes, he's been utilized a lot. You know, you've seen him in the last couple of games blowing saves, and they're one-run saves that he's blowing, you know, and causing to go extra innings and stuff like that. So he has 4 blown saves within 1 month. That is a concern. You know, Adam Ottavino seems like he's a clutch guy when it comes to 1 run. Can Alex Cora change it up a little bit? I mean, again, he has the analytics. He knows what's best for the Red Sox. He's got them this far. I don't know about you, man.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen, I think it's been a pleasant surprise all year. I think that a lot of guys have stepped up. But I agree with you. Matt Barnes a little bit as of late has been a little bit shaky. I think that, but you mentioned it, they use him a lot. I mean, they use him pretty much, you know, every, 2 to 3 days. And for a closer who, you know, in those high leverage situations and, you know, when he's pitching that fast, I think that, you know, at some point he's going to give up some saves. And I think it's just because we were so used to at the start of the season. I think he started the season with 15 opportunities and 15 saves. So I think we were just so used to whenever he came in, he was going to win us the game. But I mean, some slip ups happen. But you mentioned Ottavino. I think it's good that we have another guy that could be a closer. He came in last week, I think, against the A's and won us a game. So I think that having a guy like that to, you know, have a interchangeable closers, I think is pretty good. And I mean, other guys, like you mentioned, Josh Taylor, he's had a scoreless appearance and pretty much for almost 2 months now after a really rough start. So I think, you know, he stepped up. Garrett Whitlock has been great all year. Sawamura has been pretty good all year. But that Matt Andriese, we mentioned it earlier in the season.
Social media was blasting him. I'm going to tell you, like, as soon as Alex Cora put him there, it was nothing about on Twitter. It's like, oh my God, like, why? Like, everybody knew the future. Everybody knew what was going to happen, and it happened.
Just wave the white flag at that point, honestly. It just surrender. But
I would like to give a good shout-out, an awesome shout-out to my boy Eddie Linares. He is my cousin. Yes, indeed. And he's definitely a Yankees fan. Yes, he is. Truly die hard. And I expect that, you know, relatives, you know, but I don't think they're in a position right now to say the Red Sox stink. You know what I mean? Because when you blow a 7 to 8 run lead, come at me. Yikes. I want to hear the Yankees say,
Aroldis Chapman. Not good.
If they say they're the 27th-time champ, I'd be like, you know what? Show me what you've done so far after year 2000. 1 to show for. Red Sox, 4. And I'm going to get to those title wins later on in the show. But we're going to speak it real, which is also brought to you by Clovercrest Media. Go tune in to clovercrestmedia.com. Go on Frank Cuesta, which has got a show tonight at 9 o'clock. Speaking it real, he got plenty to say tonight. But you want to talk about why Red Sox stink? I'm going to tell you why the Red Sox stinks right now, okay? Because look at these all-stars. They are stinking it up. They're stinking it up for everybody because these guys were supposed to finish in last place, or some of y'all had them in 4th place. But we're in 1st place thanks to these guys. Rafael Devers, who had a very, very slow start, you know, with the first 2 weeks. Wasn't going well for him. And all of a sudden, he's leading in RBIs in Major League Baseball. We got Bogarts, who is leading in shortstop, right, with hits and average and doubles. I mean, these guys are starting for the first time in Red Sox history, starting third base and shortstop together in the All-Star game. That's pretty amazing. And then also we have Evalde, Martinez, and Barnes filling in. So we got 5 guys going into the All-Star break. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And I had doubts about Matt Barnes. I'm going to tell you that right now. I was like, I don't know. But I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, I remember at the start of the year when we were discussing, who was going to be the closer. We talked about Matt Barnes coming in and being worried, crossing our fingers every time he came in. But he's shown up this year, and I mean he's performed, and I think the All-Star is very well deserved. Obviously, like we mentioned, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's kind of been scuffling a little bit, but he still has that ERA underneath 3. His strikeouts per 9 and strikeouts per batter is up there with the best in the MLB. So he's a big strikeout guy. He doesn't give up a lot of hits, so he's been great. Rafael and Xander, they're the best left side of the infield in the MLB. Rafael is just an extra base hits machine, driving in RBIs, and it helps when you have the 2 through 4 ahead of him when he comes into the 5 spot. But I mean, he's been tremendous all year, and defensively, he's really improved. And Xander is just consistent year in and year out. I think he's the best shortstop in baseball. He's consistently been doing it now for 5 or 6 years. So I think that, they're very well deserved for them. And then JD Martinez, he's been in a little bit of a struggle lately, but he's still one of the best DHs in baseball, pure power hitter. And especially after last year, when he struggled, it's good to see him have a bounce back year. And then Nathan Eovaldi, excuse me. But he's had a great year. I think that, he's really came on as of late in the past month or so. He's really been dynamite, and it's good to see because I think at least one of the starters deserved an all-star role, and I think that it's between him, Nick Pivetta. I think that they picked the right one, but I think that the starting rotation has been a surprise, and I think Nathan Eovaldi has really been leading that crew though.
Yes. Hey, one good thing that my cousin said was, season's not over. You're right. The season's not over. There's still plenty. It's still one half of baseball left, especially after this weekend. But you can't sleep on anyone here. And the reason why I'm telling you that here is if you look at the standings, the Boston Red Sox ahead 2.5 games. The Tampa Bay Rays, 5 pitchers combined pitched a no-hitter today. That's pretty impressive. But 2.5 games out. And it's only going to get better between the Red Sox and the Rays once they battle out because they play a total of 19 games. The Blue Jays, they're behind 8.5, and the New York Yankees 9 games. But you're right. Look at them. All 4 teams right there are still above 500. At any given time, any of these teams can make a winning streak. Okay, they could win. They have potential winning at least 7 to 10 games straight, right? And unfortunately, sometimes you do get bad luck. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Red Sox themselves, they're not perfect, and I'm not gloating. I get frustrated sometimes. Why am I starting pitchers cannot go past 5 innings? Why am I starting pitchers are pitching so much within 5 innings? One start they're doing good. The next start they're like, I don't know. Like, again, Erod, back-to-back home runs he suffered today, causing the loss for the Red Sox. If it wasn't for that, Red Sox would have won tonight, But it is what it is. It happens, right? But again, it's just not only that, but our leadoff spot is still a work in progress. We always have somebody getting out the very first batter. Once we get that routine, it's already 2 outs. We may get a couple of runs, but if we get those bats like we did back in 2018 or going back to 2013, how we were champions there, those seasons where we're consistently hitting and pounding these pitchers, maybe because of the new rule of pitchers cannot use any type of substance in their hand, maybe now it's benefiting because, look, Tampa Bay Rays, you got to watch out for them because they're slipping, right? Ever since that substance and everything else come into play, they haven't been pitching right, So, again, but my Yankees there, what's up with your Garrett Cole? I'm just saying, you're not the same unless you got something sticky. But, hey, I'll leave it alone. Right there. But, hey, I also want to focus on the National League standings here in the East. The Mets are 4.5 games in front of the Philadelphia Phillies. And with that, the Red Sox do host the Philadelphia Phillies for the next series. And here are the potential starting lineups for the Red Sox and the Phillies. So right here, we got Gary Richards pitching on Friday against Vince Velasquez, Martin Perez on Saturday versus Matt Moore, and Nick Pivetta will close it out on Sunday versus Aaron Nola.
Yeah, Gary Richards, I've I've been concerned ever since the substance crackdown has happened, and he's been very vocal about it. That without the sticky stuff, that he's had a lot of problems. So I'm not feeling too confident about that one. But Martin Perez, he's been really good as of late. Like you said, he's the one big starter that hasn't gone late into games. He usually goes around 5 innings pitched or twice around the order, but when he is in there, he is effective. So I feel pretty promising about him. And then Nick Pivetta, I last time out, he had a 10 strikeout game. He pitched an absolute gem. So I'm feeling good about him. Even though Aaron Nola is probably the Phillies' best starter, he's one of the best starters in the NL, especially in the NL East. So I think that'll be a good matchup between two guys that have really stepped up this year. So I see it probably. I see the Phillies probably taking 1 out of 3. I think the Red Sox will take 2 out of 3 heading into the All-Star break. But I would love to see a sweep. I do not have a lot of trust in Garrett Richards as of late.
I don't trust Garrett Richards myself. And if there's any game that the Red Sox could lose and they can afford to lose, probably be that game, because the Red Sox have never lost over 3 games in a row. I'm going to tell you that right now. Never lost so far this season. I'm knocking right here. We're hoping that we continue that. All right. But look, against Vince Velasquez, the opposing opponents, they're only batting a 107. And the only person in that lineup that can actually hit on Velasquez is JD Martinez. He has 1 home run, 1 RBI. He struck out twice, but this guy, I mean, look, he's batting a 167. That's as good as it gets, right? I can't count on Marwin Gonzalez because he's only went 1 for 3. So I think he only seen him like 1 time. But Alexander Bogaerts, 3 for 7 with an RBI and a walk. He's batting a 429 against Velasquez. But everybody else has been struggling and can't seem to hit the ball against them. So that's a concern there. And as far as Matt Moore, this is the guy that the Red Sox could hit, right? And we got the perfect guy, Martin Perez. If he's able to pitch right, if his location is on point, he'll be able to get this victory. All right. And again, the opponents are batting at 248, but let's see what happens. Again, plenty of baseball to go. But Kike Hernandez, JD Martinez, Alexander Bogaerts, even Marwin Gonzalez is successful against this guy, and he's not even batting well. I mean, he's close to batting at 200. And then we got Nick Pivetta versus Aaron Nola. Nola, man, this guy, again, against the Red Sox at 236. Kike Hernandez is probably the one that's been banging him up because, during his time in the National League, he has hit 2 home runs against the guy. So I won't be surprised if they put him in the leadoff spot and potentially lead the way there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that, Kike, the last couple of weeks, he's been pretty good in the leadoff spot. I know that's been a struggle, really trying to find a good center fielder and a leadoff hitter. But he had those 3 out of 5 games with a leadoff home run. He's really been starting to swing the bat a lot better. So I do believe if he can continue this stretch, I feel more comfortable about the leadoff spot, because really our 2 through 5 is probably the best 2 through 5 in any lineup in the Major League Baseball right now. But it's really that leadoff guy that's kind of been struggling. So I think Christian Arroyo could be another candidate that could step up there if Kike, starts to scuffle a little bit here. But I like what I've been seeing from Kike lately, though. Yeah,
but Christian Arroyo coming back from the injured list, he's been making things happen, getting that spark in the leadoff position as well. He had a good success with against the series with the A's and with the Angels. But talking about success, this is the reason why these guys are in the All-Star. Alexander Bogaerts leading the team, 323 average. Rafael Devers leading the team with 21 home runs, 71 RBIs, and the on-base percentage and hits. Alexander Bogaerts all the way. And, previously when I had these stats, we had JD Martinez leading the way on everything. And JD Martinez is still close in every category. So I know his average slipped to 298. But after the All-Star break, a good break here and there, expect him to start swinging even a lot better. For the Philadelphia Phillies, Bryce Harper is leading with a 282 average. Rice Hoskins with 20 home runs, 53 RBIs. And these guys are the same guys. Harper with a 386 on-base percentage. Look, I'm a big Harper hater. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think that he's been overpaid. For a guy that's getting paid at least a little over $300 million in salary, right? for batting a 282, my man, I could find somebody else. I mean, JD Martinez getting paid less, and he's batting a 298, you know? And this is the reason why Harper is no longer with the Washington Nationals, and yet the Nationals win the World Series. How about that? Right?
Yeah.
2 years ago. So, but hey, I expect good things. At least for both teams, I do expect that the strikeout ratio get a little higher than the past 2 weeks. I know that it's getting better, but as far as these batters concerned, that might be a little flaw for this series. But I do expect at least 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox here. Let's look at the All-Star. We mentioned about the All-Star with our favorite guys, Davis and Bogarts. Let's look at the outfield here. Definitely Mike Trout will not be in the All-Star lineup, but he was voted in there. Aaron Judge at center field. Look, you got to respect at least one Yankee. You know, you got to respect Aaron Judge, who's pretty much doing it all. You know, if you expect that the whole entire lineup will produce, right? They got the most dangerous lineup in Major League Baseball, and whether you hate him or love him, it doesn't matter. But that's the guy, Aaron Judge, that's leading the way for that team. And everybody else are not falling in place with the guy, right? And he isn't even the highest paid in the Yankee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that their lineup has been so good the past couple of years. They've just fallen off a cliff this year. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in terms of runs and runs per game in the AL. I think I'm pretty sure they're second or third to last in the whole MLB. So Aaron Judge, like you said, he's been consistent this year. He's been the only one that's really been doing much of anything in that lineup. Gary Sanchez has been, he's been heating up as of late, but that Yankees lineup, man, it's tough to watch. I'm glad I'm a Red Sox fan.
I'm my favorite player, and I see him play in the AA Blue Jays, and that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. When he played over here against the Hartford Yard Goats, which is the franchise of the Colorado Rockies, Guerrero hit a home run at Dunkin' Donuts Park. And I'm going to tell you, for those of you that don't know what Dunkin' Donuts Park is, that's in Hartford, Connecticut, and has been voted 3 years in a row as the #1 minor league baseball stadium. This guy took that ball out of there, okay? I mean, I don't even know if the ball even landed. That's how bad he's hitting the ball, right? And for him to be where he's at, it is pretty awesome to see him develop at a AA to be in the majors and be an all-star. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't for Shohei Ohtani, pitching and hitting as well as he is, I think Vlad would be the runaway for AL MVP. I think, Ohtani, just the fact that he can do both, it makes it kind of tough. But there's definitely still a chance Vladdy could win MVP. And just the fact that he's doing it at 22 years old, I wish he wasn't in our division because I wish I could root for him more. But he's an absolute beast. There's no way around it. And he's had a lot of success against the Red Sox this year. So he's a fun player to watch, but he hasn't been fun to watch against the Red Sox this year because he's been killing us.
Yeah, killing indeed. But hey, as long as they stay back at third place, I'll be happy with that. Absolutely. Yeah. And then nationally, we got Acuna Jr. from the Braves, Castellano and Winker from the Reds, Arenado from St. Louis. But my guy, Fernando Tatis Jr., probably the best shortstop in the National League. Doing wonders, man. He's doing an awesome job. Adam Frazier from the Pirates and Freddie Freeman from the Atlanta Braves there. But I like Buster Posey. I mean, he's been my favorite catcher since he started. I'm glad that he bounced back, and he deserves a comeback player award for the National League. But it's going to be pretty awesome to see these guys go at it head to head on the All-Star game. Well, let's move forward, man. The trade deadline here, as we say, is July 30th, not July 31st, July 30th at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's the trade deadline for all Major League Baseball. As far as for the Red Sox, what can they do? What can they do to better themselves, right? I told you that we are weak in the leadoff position. Now, I understand Shane Bloom is one of the cheapest guy out there that could crush the salary and yet still be a winning team. He did that with Tampa Bay Rays, right? Mm-hmm. But here's a look. I look at everyone that's in last place or close to last place. Who will benefit more, right? Cedric Mullins is by far one of the best prospects I have right now that could easily fit in with the Boston Red Sox. This guy's a leadoff hitter for the Orioles. His average is a 322, but this salary is only $577,000. And he's on his last year of his contract. Now, if I was Cedric Mullins, I don't think I want to be with the Orioles next year. I mean, they're in last place all the time. So why not test the free agent market and get some money and go to a team that's actually a playoff contender? But why wait? Why not just jump ship and go to the Boston Red Sox?
I mean, he would be a perfect fit. I would absolutely jump all over that if Cedric Mullins was able to come over here. That's the one thing we're really missing, like we talked about, is a leadoff hitter. And while Kike has been good in center field, I think that Cedric Mullins is better defensively there. And for the salary that we can get him at for the rest of this season would be an absolute steal. The only thing is, we would probably have to give up some pretty good prospects in our system to get him. And I think that the Orioles, I don't know if they would want to be willing to do a trade with a team in division, even though they're always out of it. I still don't think that
it's happened before. We did get a starting pitcher from them before. Matter of fact, 2 years ago. And then it turned out to be right. I mean,
but I think we would have to give up a whole heck of a lot to get Cedric Mullins, and I would love to see him to go all out for the.
This has got speed. He got defense. He got everything. The whole package for a leadoff hitter. That is the guy, man. Hansel Robles. If they go that route to improve the bullpen, this guy has a low ERA, and he's in the American League because he's from Minnesota. He's familiar with the batters. The hardest part is you got to flip a coin, is that if you grab somebody from the National League, either it hurts you or benefits you. What benefits you is that the batters don't know who he is and they don't know how to swing on his pitches. The bad part is that if the pitcher is not great and they're hitting him, then you're not going to get your money's worth, right? But it is what it is. But hey, Adam Frazier, second baseman from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last year, his contract, they're paying him $4 million. He's batting to 326. Jose Berrios starting pitching if they were to go that route, or Taylor Rogers from Minnesota, a relief pitcher. On the far right, it's a far stretch, but Ian Kennedy got the experience. He's been in the playoffs before. He reached to the World Series, never won it. But he is a great guy to hold off the batters. $2 million, you could get him for this last year. And I know he's age 36. Same thing with Daniel Bard, who was a former Red Sox. $2 million. They got the experience. Would you take that or would you leave it?
I think if they feel that they needed an extra relief pitcher, I'm not exactly sure that they do, but I would be all over that too. I think Ian Kennedy, like you said, he's just a seasoned veteran. He's been one of the better relievers in the game for quite some time now. And he's stuck on a bad Rangers team yet again. The past couple, in the early 2010s, they always had a contender, but they've been pretty bad over the past, 5 or 6 years. So I
should have never got rid of manager Washington, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Ian Kennedy would definitely be another good arm in this bullpen. And Daniel Bard, like you said, former Red Sox, he's a great comeback story, coming back to the major leagues after being out for 6 or 7 years. Last year, I think that he has very high velocity. He's good with his strikeouts. So I think that I wouldn't be opposed to a reunion with him either, because our bullpen has been pretty good this year, but the more you can add to it, I think the better off you are, especially if you can get a guy like Matt Andriese and kick him out of here.
Oh man, tell me, we don't get no value with that guy.
Nope.
They ship him out. Hey, listen, they could release him for all I care. But hey, that's for another conversation, another topic on that. I need a dedicated show, like who do we kick out? But as far as that concerned, listen, I talked about it on the last show. This is my prediction. Should the season end right now, okay? The only difference that I have here is in the National League with the Mets would advance and face the San Francisco Giants. But moving on forward, if it was to maintain, the Milwaukee Brewers really have a better pitching staff than the New York Mets. I know they got DeGrom and everything else, but, the diversity that Milwaukee Brewers have, I think they can still grow. The National League East is just not that competitive, man. I'm telling you. But my biggest thing here is that the Boston Red Sox and San Francisco Giants, that is my dream match. especially that the Red Sox has won 4 World Series titles versus the San Francisco Giants has won 3 so far after year 2000. And, you know, I think during that time, San Francisco won 3 of the 5 years, right? And for these two to collide, to combine 7 World Series championship titles, that'd be an awesome series.
Yeah, I think those are 2 teams that have surprised all year. If you looked at the start of the year, the power rankings and people's predictions, I think that, you know, both the Red Sox and the Giants were predicted to finish either 3rd or 4th within their division, because obviously the Giants, you know, they have to go against Padres and Dodgers, who are both very talented teams. For the Red Sox, I mean, people expected the Yankees to be a lot better. People expected that, you know, the Rays and Blue Jays would be better, but 2 surprise teams that, I mean, if it did end up happening that way, I think it would be a great story. 2 teams that have had a lot of success, like you said, after 2004, and that didn't have much expectations going into the year, but they've gotten the job done. So I would love that prediction. I hope the Red Sox do have a chance to get to the World Series, but the one team I am a little bit worried about is the Astros. I think they've had a lot of success against the Red Sox this year. Their run differential is
I gotta stop you there, man. I gotta stop you there. I gotta stop you there, man.
I hate the Astros.
In 2018, the Astros had the Red Sox number, but when it came to the playoffs, we took the series against them.
Yeah,
it's going to repeat, man. It's going to. I got faith on my Red Sox.
I hope so. I sure hope so. But they're. But I mean, the only reason I said that is because they're really the only team in the AL that I have, you know, really any worries about. I mean, the Rays. We've kind of had their number. We just saw the series with the A's. We beat the White Sox earlier in the year. So if there's any team I'm worried about, I think it's the Astros. But if we can get past them, I feel really good about our chances.
Listen, if there's an exclamation mark when it comes to the American League East, I'm going to tell you like this. We have a 4-game series after the All-Star break against the New York Yankees. If we sweep them again, because we sweep them twice in a row already.
Yep. It'd be 10-0.
Then I'll tell you the Yankees are out. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The Yankees are out, and we start with Erod is starting on Thursday, right, on the series, and he's been struggling.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then like of course Gary Rich is going to be pitching. I can't stand it. But it is what it is. But
that's all right. Chris Sale will be back. We'll be back soon.
We'll see. I mean, listen, if we can maintain first place and give him till August, who knows, right? The more comfortable he is and everything else.
Oh yeah,
we'll just go
I think
with
he
the
should
flow.
take as much time as he needs, because you don't want to rush back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But hey, our show again. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube channel, the OV's Backstop Podcast. You can also follow us at hhwshow.com. And if you missed our show and everything else, you want to listen to in your ride and everything else, hey, go ahead and follow us on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast platform. Just subscribe ahead, and don't forget hhwshow.com. So, Sean, it is good to see you back. Thank you so much. We got to do this again this Sunday when we close out the series with the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, it's one hell of a ride, man. One hell of a ride. And our voiceover for the commercial for this show happens to be a Yankee fan. So he says that the Red Sox are about to bounce back and take over the AL East. Man, you know how amazing that is for me to hear that from a Yankee fan?
Love one of the best sounds you could hear out there. That's we're
definitely gonna have him on the show before the series start with Sean and Joel Guar, who also is the CEO of Clovercrest Media. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, everyone, and please don't forget to subscribe and follow us at hhwshow.com.
Thank you so much for listening to OV's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network. For more, visit hhwshow.com.